Bonjour tout le monde, je suis très ravi d'être parmi vous. Je suis marocain, donc au service de notre pays. Je suis là pour partager avec vous mon savoir-faire, ce que j'ai développé, ce que je développe dans mon équipe, dans mon laboratoire. Donc effectivement, aujourd'hui, on a vu que tous les narrateurs, les ministres et tout ça, ils insistent sur un point très important. Effectivement, il y a la recherche fondamentale, c'est très important pour découvrir et tout ça, mais il faut aller au-delà. Aller au-delà, c'est-à-dire avoir un prototype, introduire ça dans le marché, utiliser que les ministères, tout confondus, santé, etc., puissent bénéficier de ce qu'on développe. Et c'est ça ce qu'on cherche. Et ça, c'est la philosophie de l'Europe. Donc l'Europe, actuellement, dans les appels à projets, donc si on n'a pas des industriels, ça ne passera pas. Il y a deux volets. Ceux qui peuvent participer dans ce cadre-là pour avoir un produit final, et il y a d'autres pour la recherche fondamentale. Et dans cette perspective, j'ai choisi un projet dont je suis coordinateur, que j'aimerais bien vous exposer mes résultats. Donc c'est un projet dans le cadre de la maladie qu'on appelle l'insuffisance cardiaque. Donc l'insuffisance cardiaque, pourquoi? Parce que normalement il y a pas mal de mortalité, etc. Et le fait de faire le screening, c'est difficile, ça prend énormément de temps et c'est le coût. Donc jusqu'à maintenant, vous me permettez de switcher en anglais, ça sera beaucoup mieux. Merci beaucoup. I'm very happy to be here to share with you my experiments, my projects, and to present to you the main achievements in this framework called Heart Project, devoted to heart failure. Next slide, please. Here, this project has been financed by ICESCO, in which they were involved more than 12 institutions, the most important in Europe, in order to produce, to build a system that can be introduced in health, in hospital, and to screen and to save life of patients. First of all, my talk will be structured in three things. The first one, why we are addressing this topic, heart failure. Which tools that we can use, how we can answer, because normally to screen this disease we need to use a huge equipment, quality people in order to analyze blood that is invasive, and at least we need 3 hours. The most important tools that we can use up to now, it's called ELISA, to screen this biomarker. And here I will show you how we can merge all this philosophy to connect objects, to have this big data, to share, to exchange in order to build a nice system that we can overcome all these issues that we are facing in hospitals. Well, first of all, we will use standard physical sensors, but the most innovative things that I will show you how we will address some issues that up to now we cannot solve it. I mean, to develop biosensors to detect VOC, volatile compounds, non-invasive, and to use saliva, because you know, these things, it's very important because it's easy to analyze. However, with blood, sometimes people are crazy, they cannot do, and this affects sometimes we can change the philosophy, the biomarker that we can analyze it. And I will present briefly, because it's not the issue here, briefly the technology and the device that has been produced. Can you move, please? Well, here is the concept. For instance, heart failure is the most common cause of hospitalization in patients more than 65 years. And of course, we need to overcome this, because normally it's huge time. They stay in hospital between 10 and 5 days. The cost for each person, it's more than 6,000 euros. And the budget, the whole budget, it's more than 75. We need to look for some strategies in order to reduce this and to be nearest to our patients and to save life of these patients, of course. And as you can see here, 75% of the total treatment cost of heart failure are associated with hospitalization. And the aim of this project, not to move people to the hospital, to try to analyze some physiological parameters, but in-house. That means, in fact, if they are suffering or whatever, at this moment we can move and we can translate it to the hospital. On the other hand, we are reducing time, we are reducing the cost for the health government and so on. Okay. For that, we have here this scaling down that we would like to reduce all this and to have something that will be available, that patients by themselves will use it. Move to the next slide, please. And here what we can say, patients with heart failure are at higher risk for readmission to the hospital. This we would like to avoid this. How we will avoid this? By looking for some alternative strategies beyond state of the art, not usually that people are using in the hospital. Can you move to the next slide, please? Well, here is what we are addressing in our project, that we will have patients, we need to interact with ecosystem. What that means, we will have heart care professional, physiologists, nutritionists, physical activity experts, caregivers. On the other hand, we have adherence, medication, physical activity, nutrition. With this packaging, maybe we can solve the issues. And this is what we are addressing here. Not only, just only making analysis. No, taking care of all this ecosystem. And this is very important because before it was not addressing. And we don't have this scenario, this full puzzle. Can you move to the next, please? And for instance, current heart failure approach, the weak points, they are not addressing all these issues. For instance, nutrition, physical activities, sensor data, healthcare professional, medication. Of course, they are addressing blood analysis, and finally, the cost. And we would like to overcome all these issues, looking for alternative. Move to the next slide, please. And here, this hits the concept of our project. We would like to address all what I presented before. This scenario, this ecosystem will be involved, and we can have interface between patients and doctors, and sometimes only by visualization of some cutoff of some bioparameters, we can say, okay, something is happened with these patients. Can you please move to the hospital? We would like to make more advanced analysis and so on. And this is the concept of our project. Please move to the next. And of course, in our project, we are addressing what I mentioned before. All these, we will take care about this in order to have this full system taking account all these parameters that I highlighted before. Please, can you move? Well, this is, let's say, the scenario, the ecosystem. You can see we have in the center of our strategy heart failure patients, because this is the biggest problem. However, we have nutritional, we have cardiac, physical, and of course, doctors. Merging all these competences, sharing all these informations, this is the aim of our project, how we can address all these open issues. Can you move to the next, please? I prefer, usually in my talk, the most important is the movie, because sometimes with language and so on, we cannot exchange. I prefer here to summarize my project with this video, and later I will move to some scientific results. Please, can you start?
Hearten is a European project aiming at the development of a collaborative mHealth platform for heart failure management. Hearten Consortium includes 12 European partners with multidisciplinary expertise in the field of biosensors, information system technologies, molecular research, clinical research, and cardiology. Hearten uses non-obtrusive wearable sensors for monitoring several vital signs. We developed breath and saliva biosensors that are integrated into the patient's smartphone and cup, respectively, for monitoring medication adherence and patient's health status easily at home. We developed tools for monitoring the patient's status change, for predicting medication and lifestyle adherence and adverse events, and also for providing alerts to the involved actors. Healthcare professionals, caregivers, nutritionists, physical activity experts, and psychologists are all working together in order to create a collaborative environment and empower patients. Suggestions, recommendations, and alerts are provided to the heart failure patient by the several ecosystem actors. Multi-parametric data coming from sensors and biosensor devices are transferred through the smartphone application to the cloud, giving the experts the opportunity to monitor the patients on a daily basis. A specialized knowledge management system assists the experts in receiving remotely clinical knowledge on patient status and adherence, and adjust treatment plan if necessary. Our aim is to make it possible for heart failure patients to be more active, manage their own health outside healthcare institutions, avoid hospitalizations, and benefit from improved quality of life. HARM, a collaborative platform for heart failure disease management.
As you can see here, the main idea is to develop two devices. The first one will be basically for analysis of VOC. What that means, VOC, volatile compounds, because this is very important because sometimes can reflect the state of the health of the patients. And on the other hand, we are developing another system based on analysis of saliva, because sometimes if we have some biomarkers that increase, that means indicator of some disease. For instance, prostate, we have PCR. For other diseases, lung cancer or whatever, we have other biomarkers. Here, we are focusing on 4 biomarkers: NT-proBNP, interleukin, 10, TNF-alpha, and cortisol. These mainly that we will develop. Now I can tell you how we can produce this, how we develop it, but briefly because it's a very complex system. Can you move to the next slide, please? First of all, what that means, sensors. Sensors, normally we have the transducers and we have a layer that will capture. And this interaction between biomarkers and antibody will be translated in electrical signal that we can correlate with the activity. Mainly this, and briefly this is the concept. It's very large, but here I just tell you this sentence. Can you move, please? Well, how we will produce our device?